Here we are in lovely Rappahannock County on this lovely fall day. I thought I'd do a little supplement to the Godwin episode. Meanwhile, I'm adjusting my collar and shit. I don't look in the mirror too often, but suddenly I'm seeing myself on the screen. Let's talk about like anarchism and human nature. Is human nature good or evil? That seems to a lot of people to bear on this question of whether human beings need government or not. Now, I guess in my view, this discussion tends to be amazingly primitive. All right, good just means cooperative. In this discussion, evil means competitive, I guess. Are people basically wanting to work together, or they want to destroy each other? All right, that's good and evil, I guess. I think you need a lot more sophisticated, more interesting ethical theories before you even ask this question. All right, is human nature good or evil? Now, one thing I recall is my friend Glenn Mazes, who's a philosopher, specialist in Merleau-Ponty. He's often said to me over the years that he and his wife Judith have been thinking about me, the anarchist. They're obviously puzzled. Yeah, I'm puzzled by their puzzlement, but okay. And they conclude every so often that I must have an incredibly positive view of human nature. All right, so I think that people can govern themselves, and that we won't all kill each other and take each other's stuff or whatever. So I must have an almost naively positive view of human nature if I am opposed to the existence of coercive government. All right. Now, the views of William Godwin might lend fuel to that fire. There's never been anyone with a more positive view of human nature. At least before shit started going terribly wrong for his kids and stuff, I guess. But and he does draw anarchist conclusions, anti-statist conclusions, the conclusion that the state is not needed, or the conclusion that the state is actually distorting the fundamental goodness of human beings and should be gotten rid of on those grounds. That is his style of argument. All right. And again, like, his positive view is that we are just improving progress specifically in knowledge, and not only knowledge of scientific facts about the world, but in moral knowledge, how we ought to behave and what works, like, say, in the way of education or whatever it may be. He just thinks we're inevitably headed somewhere great, more or less, and and draws the anarchist conclusions from that. And he's working out of Rousseau, like I say, and that's maybe a lot of people around 1800, or 1780 to 1820, had a very positive view of human nature, almost derived from Rousseau. Man is born free, but he's everywhere in chains. Human beings are fundamentally good, distorted by their social conditions. Here's a little quote from Godwin. This is page 120 of this Oxford edition of the Inquiry Concerning Political Justice. The improvement of individuals and the amelioration of political institutions are destined mutually to produce and reproduce each other. The improving human beings and the amelioration of political institutions are going to go hand in hand, are destined to get better and better. Truth, and above all, political truth, and this is his particular kind of progress in realizing the truth. Again, he has kind of the Socratic position that realizing the truth makes you good. Truth, and above all political truth, is not hard of acquisition, but from the superciliousness of its professors. Like, you think truth makes its own case, and truth is obvious, kind of, but it's just kind of the superciliousness or the distortion of advocates that make it hard. It has been slow and tedious of improvement so far because the study of it has been relegated to doctors and civilians. It has produced little, I wonder what he means by civilians there. It has produced little effect upon the practice of mankind because it has not been allowed a plain and direct appeal to their understandings. Remove these obstacles, the obstacles to everyone understanding plain political truths, render it the common property, bring it into daily use, and you may reasonably promise yourself consequences of the most inestimable value. Things are getting better all the time. Now, I mean, who needs laws when you have all the intuitions in your head, all the moral intuitions, all right? I mean, he says that civic law is just a kind of obscure and distorted reflection of the laws we all know already. Right. Again, this is a little Socratic. All right, and I will say that there are other anarchists who have like a really seemingly naively positive view of human nature. This would be true of early-ish Emma Goldman, for instance, okay, who just has the loveliest view of what human beings are and can be, partly derived from the arts, I think. She's inspired by Russian drama, okay, and the visual arts that are exploding around her, the invention of abstraction and stuff in the village and the teens, okay, etc. But at any rate, she draws also anarchist conclusions from a really seemingly almost naively positive view of human nature. And we'll be devoting an episode to Emma Goldman, so we'll probably talk about that. And here's yet another reason. People who have a dark view of human nature on this hyper simplistic competitive versus cooperative thing have drawn the opposite of anarchist conclusions. So, I mean, the most famous example in Western political philosophy would be Thomas Hobbes, right? The life of human beings in nature, human nature, is rough, totally self-interested, only a matter of killing to get what you need, really, all right? Humans are beasts, man, and they must be restrained. So these two figures, Godwin and Hobbes, suggest the idea that anarchists must have a positive view of human nature, and if you have a negative view of human nature, the more negative your view of human nature, the more government authority you will countenance over people. Now, let me just say this, and I'm going to say it to you, Glenn, again, or whatever, but to anyone who will listen. No, all right? If human beings were what Hobbes says we are, the anarchist conclusion would still follow. I'm sorry, it goes either way. All right, it does not. Anarchism does not depend on a positive view of human nature. Let's say that Thomas Hobbes is exactly right about what we are, continuously, individually self-interested, and willing to do anything we can get away with to pursue that self-interest, to make ourselves safe, above all, and secure, and wealthy, and powerful, and influential. We will do anything, and even pretend to be benevolent, okay? All right, so that's what human beings are. How can we cure that? Give some of us, some creatures like that are totally self-interested in every single decision they make and cooperating just because, for appearance's sake, for the sake of what they can get out of that. All right. If that's what human beings are, and what are you going to do? Give 10% of them a bunch of guns and all the resources they can possibly desire? Like, give them the system of taxation? Give them a system of incarceration? Give them weaponry? You think you're going to cure the evil of human nature by arming some and disarming others. You think you're going to cure human nature by empowering some humans totally over others and allowing some humans to coerce others. Okay. Now, if you have a negative view of human nature, that's an absurd procedure. Thomas Hobbes should have seen this instantaneously, okay? That means, if this is what a human being is, never trust another human being with power over you. Are you going to go into a social contract where you sacrifice all power to one person? Let me point out to you that that person is a person. Are you going to do a social contract where you give give coercive state power to a big group of people? Right? Well, let me point out that those people are people and you think they're evil. So you're going to get totally bad outcomes by letting some evil things have all the power over all the other evil things? Like that's your cure for evil? All right, this makes no sense. It's an incredibly stupid argument, okay? I think that if we really were benevolent and generous and loving and always going for progress, then we could have a government. Okay? Then I would trust people to govern me. But not if we're all evil and self-interested in every single decision we make. That's just silly. So I want to say that even though some anarchists have had a very positive view of human nature, others have not, including Bakunin, let's say, that's not necessary to make the anarchist argument. All right. The anarchist argument follows beautifully if human nature is evil, even more clearly, even more quickly. So I'm just giving you a little supplement. Don't make that mistake. One thing I sort of forgot to talk about in Godwin is that he gives a initial formulation of prefigurative politics as well. He does a typical thing, which is characteristic of the whole history of anarchism, which is that the means must comport with, must be compatible with the end, or else you're working against the world that you say you desire. This is a complete distinction, for example, it's an ultra distinction between anarchism and Bolshevism. Okay, anarchism and Marxist communism. If it's wrong to break eggs, don't make an omelet. All right. But I just wanted to mention that. All right, I guess that's our little supplementary episode. What was that, 13 minutes? Not so bad. But in the sun, I can't even see how to turn this off.